This is useless as a session if it doesn't serve as a starting point for where you need to go. Don't sit and kind of have this nice warm feeling wash over you and then go on with your life. So nothing's happening. Right? So commit to a journey, plan for it, give it a go. What is your weakest section? So Quant, LRDI, VARC. Quite interestingly, I think few people had put more than one of this as the weakest section. So it's understandable. I think they're not wildly apart. I think people have a bigger fear of Quant to start with because the syllabus seems vast. Right? So as you go further down, when you start taking mocks, these two rear their head more than this. I would fully expect this to change a little bit as we go further. Right? How many mocks did you take last year? Great many have taken very few. Right? So some have taken practically nothing, and a great many have taken 5, 6, 7. A few have taken a substantial number. This is a good number. More than 15 is a good number. Then you know what you're getting into. You kind of know what this is about. But the vast majority have basically saying, look, I'm not really done mocks. Right? So keep that in mind. Something to just think about in terms of taking stock. Right? I'm going to revisit this. I'm going to not revisit this as much as say what are the takeaway from this. Right? What held back your CAT score? Speed was an issue. Fundas were not clear. Reading killed me. Everything I was clueless. Speed seems to have been a point of friction or a place of bother for several people. Speed is linked to drill. It's linked to automation. It's linked to stamina. And so speed does not exist in the context of competitive exam as a standalone metric. It doesn't. People often think how quickly I can multiply, how quickly I can read. Matters. It does, but it's a small input. Right? How assured you are when you're attempting it, how much stamina you have in reading the third passage in a row, how effortless it is to be solving the 7th equation in within a 15-minute spell. So it's a lot about fatigue, combating fatigue and stamina, and not about multiplying quickly. And so, but speed seems to have been the issue. But I think people are saying, look, I could not see myself attempting more than 25 questions overall, but there are guys doing 40, 42. How do I even get there? Right. So that is a significant thing. Fundas were not clear. It's again a super crucial driver. We're going to spend time on this. Very often, this drives speed. How many hours do you read per week? 10 plus hours is good. 5 to 10 hours is okay. 2 to 5 hours is not good. Should probably amp it up a little bit more. You guys read is not good at all. Right? So you should look to read more than 5 hours per week. 10 plus hours is fantastic. That's delightful. Right? So, but you should look to read for at least an hour every day. Don't call it preparation. Call it entertainment. Call it something to fill your days with. But it cannot be 20 minutes. It cannot be half an hour. It cannot be Insta scrolling. It cannot be doom scrolling. Absolutely not. Right? So just keep that in mind. Lovely. When did you seriously start preparing for this? 8 to 10 months before the exam, then that's good. If you're in this spot 8 to 10 months before the exam, then you have to worry about preparation fatigue and have a strategy where you go with it in bursts and not burn out by September. Right? So keep that in mind. I kept postponing and never really started properly. The green boxes, it happens for quite a few people. Then you're practically starting afresh. You're not really doing this for. You're not really taking off from where you left off as much as starting from scratch. And so, the 4 to 6 months is a good sweet spot to have had. You know the lay of the land. If you've taken 10 mocks, you know what this is. You know what your strengths and weaknesses are. You know how fundas are important. You know how speed can be built. You know the full script. You can be running this session, not me. And so it's a beautiful sweet spot to be in where you know what this is. You've given it a go, not a full-fledged go, so you know that you have reserves left in you to amp up your score, so the confidence is high. But you know what this is. You know what the game is. And that's good. So if you're in this spot and you've taken 10 mocks, then you kind of know the script. So keep that in mind. This is practically green. And 1 to 3 months, 1 month, 2 months, you can't really know this. How consistent were you in your preparation? Uh, Very consistent is good, and that you've been in that group. Mostly irregular, that means you're practically not prepared. Mainly near the exam, not prepared. This is very common. Right? So this happens to me. On and off, good weeks and bad weeks. It's a theme of mine. So I'm going to come back to this. But my point is, if you know you're like this, you have to either say, get on the discipline bandwagon and say, hey, I'm going to be super disciplined. I'm going to say 1 hour per day of reading, 1.5 hours per day of preparation, no matter what. Or you should be among the people who make the good weeks count. Right? So there are cricket batsmen who will have an average of 50. They'll practically score 30, 35 every innings and score and be good in any surface, any country, any bowling, any batting. They can hang in there. And then there are guys who have off seasons and the purplest of purple patches. They'll go for a 3-test series and score 540 runs. They'll be utterly dominant, world beating, fantastic. They won't score 70, they won't score 110, they'll score 170. And so I'm very much this, and on and off. And I used to feel really bad about not being disciplined. Right? And then I modified it and said, look, I work in spurts, so I need to accommodate my working in spurts. I need to guilt trip myself into finding a spurt within me and then going berserk in that 1 week, 10-day window. Right? And I can be devastatingly good in short, definable spurts. Right? So, and then have an off season for 1 week where I'm not doing anything linked to this. And so make your informed days really count. And so if I'm doing, what I mean by that, suppose I'm having a good spell where my work is not threatening, my mood is fine, I'm feeling nice, I'm attacking it. I can do 3-4 hours of preparation effortlessly, and I can do it 3 days in a row. And this will be peak efficiency. 4 days in a row, 4 hours per day, 16 hours. And what I've done in those 16 hours will be like what most people get done in 2 weeks. My problem is I almost take it as a license to goof off for 3-4 days. I've done it. Yes, I've got this. All that I tell myself. And then I goof off for 3-4 more days. It's like a beautiful diet and then having ice cream on Saturdays. And so if you're here, then try to make your good days count or find some balance. Either get disciplined, work on turning up day after day, week after week, month after month, or accept that you're going to blow hot and blow cold, that you will get momentum, but make your momentum days killer days and use that as your planning. What is a realistic weekly time commitment for this? Less than 5 hours is too low. Even 5 to 10 hours is probably not enough. If you've got fundas in place, if you have the reading habit, if you're one of the 3 sections is in place, then you're good. But if that is not the case, then you need to be in one of these 2 parts. You need to carve out time. You're serious about your ambition. If you're saying, look, I want to do an MBA, I want to go places, I want to shift my career, I want to change my trajectory, you've got to turn up. There's no getting away from it. There are a few guys who are super good and you can just turn up with, prepare for 2 months, wing it and get 99.2. And sometimes I'm utterly disappointed with them because they could have done 3 more months of this, ironed out their flaws, taken 15 more marks, pushed themselves hard and seen if they had 99.8 in them. And 99.2 of 2 months means nothing to me. Some people gloat. He just turned up for 2 months and he got 99.2. So what's the point of that? Turn up for 6 months and get 99.8. Right? So, but the point I'm trying to make is, even if you're that guy, even if you're that, I can turn up and do 99.2. Don't turn up and do 99.2. Turn up, put fight, hang in there, have prepare intensely and shoot for 99.7. Super important. Which statement best describes your previous preparation approach? Focus more on learning than testing. Happens very frequently. No clear structure, just went with the flow. Again, this is important. There's one part of it is, look, I don't have a clear cut plan for what I want to achieve. And that's one thing. 2, as I go into learning mode, I learn and I learn and I learn, but I don't get the hang of the game. And I've had several students who come and told me every now and then, every year, once, few students each year who say, look, I was completing syllabus. I had no clue about what this thing is. Then I started taking a few mocks, got beaten up. And then finally, 3 weeks before the exam, I felt like, look, yeah, gamer, got this. I know what this exam is exactly about. Now the whole big picture seems to make sense. Unfortunately, by that time, there were only 2 weeks to the exam, and I couldn't amp that up. And therefore, I feel like I missed out. I left something on the table. And so, which is pretty much this. I'm spending a lot of time understanding and learning and enjoying and being curious and all that, but not enough mocks and not enough reiterating to get used to that and get better at that. And so be very particular about this. What is your takeaway? A clear study plan. We'll try to have that. We'll try to achieve that. Understanding past mistakes. We'll discuss some themes, some standard mistake that could happen. Section-wise strategy. We'll touch on that as well. And motivation. You know how much I'm capable of providing that, but try I shall. So this is a good place to kind of take stock. Right? So I'm going to talk in terms of a clear study plan. You should do. You have to tailor it for yourself. Keep that in mind. It is not a one size fits all thing. Right? So, but even before we go there, I have one other slide that I wanted to very much discuss. Right? So it's a very important slide. Right? So for this exam, lots of people, if you see the ambition chart, is 99 percentile or 97, 98. Right? So if you look at this chart, 99 percentile happened around 95 marks, give or take. Right? So it changes year to year. One easy paper, it will be higher, tough paper, it will be lower, all that we know. This is a representative graph. Right? I'm not trying to make a point about 95.13, that's irrelevant. Right? So 99 percentile, roughly 95 marks. Right? So if you've got 90th percentile or hypothetically 85th percentile, it's a good percentile, the top 15% of people taking this exam. But your ambition is 99. Right? Our mind is conditioned to thinking 85 to 99 itna hi hai. Right? 85 is 49 marks, 99 is 95 marks, almost a doubling of the scores. Right? So I'm going to be very brutal here. I'm going to say one message that several of you might not want to hear. Bear with me. Sometimes you have to hear bad news. If you anyone who's preparing, who's a repeater, who's done this once before, who thinks like he's got this, but if your previous score was below 85th percentile, practically tell yourself you're starting afresh. If your ambition is 99 and your score was 85, 85 to 99 is not a few tweaks, it's a doubling of the scores. So to what you need to be, don't think in terms of tweaks. Don't say either say to adjustment, either say yeah, some DLR or one bubble, one section will suddenly become, I think I'm ready for 99. Absolutely not likely. I won't say absolutely no chance. Obviously, there's a chance for everything, but very unlikely that someone can go from 85 to 99 with just tweaks. And tweaks are not going to get you there. So keep that in mind. If anyone who's prepared for this exam and who turned up for it once and has got less than 85th percentile, utterly, completely, comprehensively forget it, that you're a repeater who's standing on a pedestal. And take stock of all your learnings. Take stock of what you've understood about this preparation process. Right? So, but don't say few tweaks and then I'm in. No chance. Right? So, if your preparation has been unstructured, if you have taken too few mocks, if you could work with a good plan, all of those learnings are fine. But don't make the assumption. So many people come and tell me, like, I prepared for just 4 months, I got 85th percentile. This time I'm preparing for 6-7 months. I think I should go to 99. Thinking that 85 to 99 is like either say एक right or एक left, वो आ ही जाएगा. 85 to 99 is a giant leap. If your ambition is 99 and you got below 85, almost tell yourself you're starting from scratch. Right? So the learnings are important, but the preparation has to be anchored around starting from absolute fundamentals. And so do not bypass fundamentals at all. And so just keep that in mind. I want to come back to this. I want to start with this chart and say anyone who's got below 85th percentile, you should think of yourself as a fresher in terms of your overall strategy. Your takeaways, your learnings may give some boundaries, some tweaks. You've done this once, you know what this is. Use that. But don't have a strategy around इधर से थोड़ा सा adjustment हो जाए तो मैं तो I'm 99, here I come 85 to 99, huge leap. Keep that in mind. I know it's sometimes dispiriting to hear this. It's all right. We are still only in end of February, beginning of March. Get all the bad news early and have a good strategy. We're all looking to say what is the best plan of action for the next 10 months. And so so don't be touchy about somebody saying this is bad news. You've got to hear it. Right? So fine. So keep that in mind. Do not have a thought process. If too many students are in, for want of a better word, denial about how much needs to go in to go from 85 to 99. If you've got 77th percentile, it's practically nothing in the context of wanting to get a 99 percentile. Keep that in mind. Study plan. Fine. I'm a big bore about this. Fine. Any study plan for for this exam, incorporate two big ideas. And so learning from fundamentals, super important, and reading a lot, super important. If you're creating a study plan, you should say I should be reading for 10 hours every week, 100%. That has to be part of your routine. If you blow hot and blow cold and you have good weeks and bad weeks, all of those are for hardcore preparation, not for reading. And reading is non-negotiable. You have to find a way in your life to make reading as your source of entertainment. Not Instagram, not Twitter, not YouTube, shorts, reels, none of that. Right? So I'm sure several of you doom scroll. I do, regrettably so. I'm trying to bring it down. I'm not saying look, it'll go to zero. All of us need a hit. It's like junk food, but I'm trying to dial it down. I'm trying to take it down so that I can fight against my attention span going lower. And so, if I'm worried about my attention span going lower, you guys should be doubly, triply worried. Should be paranoid about your attention span shrinking. And so, reading does marvelous, wonderful things for attention span. You pick up that's why I like novels. I like novels better than articles. And fiction is good. Don't read non-fiction. Non-fiction is too many people read about atomic habits and sapiens and seven wonderful things of beautiful people and all that. And so I'm assuming all of that is great stuff. I've read a couple of these books, but so you don't read to enrich yourself, to make yourself better. And reading in and of itself is magical. Right? It's like you get consumed in a magical world that the author has created, and it need not be fictional. It need not be animated. It need not be magic realism. It need not be fantasy. It could be a story which is like regular people, right? But it's the author's conception of what is presentable, right? Read good stuff from good authors. That's not negotiable. But if you get consumed in that, you can learn a million things about a million things, and to do not have a checklist of things to finish off and grasp and improve yourself while reading. And some of the grandest improvements, some of the strongest impacts in life, the most powerful things in life are you take them in your stride unwittingly. You process stuff while reading powerful works of fiction. And so do not underestimate the power of reading good high quality fiction. High quality fiction is good read, good plot, good writing, all of that, but just make you turn your pages very quickly. And so that's super important. If you can hang in, pick up a book at 9 p.m. and then you get carried away till 10:15 reading it before you say, look, I'm going to go off to sleep. That's brilliant. That's more than 60 minutes of doing one thing only continuously without taking a phone break and a WhatsApp thing and this and that and all that. And if you can reach that point, then your stamina has gone up. So strive to reach that point. Reading is absolutely, utterly, comprehensively non-negotiable. Stick that in. Fine. Another theme of preparation is learn from fundamentals. And so whenever I say learn from fundamentals, learn from first principles, lots of times people ask me, well, what do you mean by that? What is first principles? And what in the wide world is learning from first principles? And so digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and asking questions that are keeping on continuously asking why, like how a 2-year-old kid keeps asking. That's a very simplistic way of asking what is learning from fundamentals. And so you hear, suppose somebody tells you how Test of divisibility by 4. And how do you know, how do you find a number divisible by 4? Check out the last 2 digits. Last 2 digits. So that's enough. Yeah, brilliant. 785314 is a number multiple of 4? No, it's not. 4 is 14. 14 is not a multiple of 4. Why? So the number is not a multiple of 4. Nice. A rule, a mathematical idea, we've plugged it in, and we can do 20 questions, 30 questions, 40 questions. We can train an 11-year-old to do this. Nice. Very satisfied, very happy. The best 11-year-olds who go on to becoming very powerful minds are the ones who say, look, why does this work? You've got to say, why does this work? Why is it enough to check the last 2 digits to know whether a number is a multiple of 4? And that's an easy enough question. Find that. And then your mind will automatically go to, should automatically go to, what is test of divisibility by 8? Why is it enough to check the last 3 digits? What is the test of divisibility by 9? Why is it sufficient to just add up all the digits? Where did that come from? 176254. Is it number a multiple of 9? Add all the digits. Sum of all the digits is a multiple of 9. The number is a multiple of 9. Where does it come from? How in the wide world is this even possible? That I don't care whether it's thousands place or 10,000 place or hundreds place. I just take the digit. Face value doesn't matter. You add up. It's a very extraordinarily powerful rule. Why does it work? You read that. You figure it out. You spend 10 minutes trying to figure it out and then go online, Google and find out. Then you say test of divisibility by 11. It's even funnier. Odd position digits, even position digits, and then find the difference. What even is this? Why does that work? What is the funda behind that? And then you read fundas about test of divisibility by 4, 8, 9, 11. And you spend half an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes on this nice ride where you go to internet and you put this question and see a solution and then wander off and find that. You learn things about x bar n minus a bar n, x bar n plus a bar n, x cube plus y cube, x bar 5 plus y bar 5, a bar 7 plus b bar 7, a bar 8 minus b bar 8. Which of these is factorizable? Which of these is not factorizable? One properly kind of hardcore algebra, starting from a quest to search this. And so that is learning from first principles. I've been given a rule. I can plug this in multiple iterations and find out, hey, nice, very nice, interesting. Why does this work? Geometry lends itself to this. Sum of 2 sides of a triangle is greater than the third. Why? Find the proof. It's an enthralling proof. And so every time you dig deeper and ask those, why does this work? Why does this work? Why does it keep expanding the scope of the why? And so there is a funda, there's a rule that you apply and plug it into context. Right? There is a reason why the rule works. There are several ideas sitting inside carving out this rule. It's almost like you have the ground level and then you see a trunk and a stem and flowers and roses and all that. And then what happens to the root? Right? The better grasp you have here, the more you can take this higher. Stronger the roots, higher your tree can go. Not just bleeding obvious things, but sometimes we don't know how do I learn from first principles. Right? Endlessly question. We've been given this rule. Why does it work? And compared to 40 years ago, the gigantic advantage you guys have is the internet. There's no credible way we guys could have figured out test of divisibility by 9. Why does it work? Except asking some teacher. But chances are 90% of teachers wouldn't know. And so, and 40% of them would be like, well, just rubbish and don't ask me stupid questions, get out of here. Right? Now all you need to do is take your phone, plug it in, you'll get it. Hang in there, put fight, and then get it. Don't bypass that putting fight part. Right? So keep that in mind. And so those are the themes in terms of study plan. Read, learn from fundamentals. And so this reinforces the idea of so many people saying my fundas were not strong enough. And that's why I struggled. And so you strengthen fundas, speed will come. You build stamina, speed will come. You combat fatigue, speed will come. You improve decision making, speed will come. Speed is an output variable. Don't strive for speed. Don't have a fetish for measuring speed so much. They're continuously worrying about how fast am I doing things. And so you got all the fundas in place, you get the methods in place, you see how you can navigate this paper. You get better at all of this, you'll be naturally quicker. It's an output variable, not an input variable. Right? Keep that in mind. And so, so I'm saying speed. Don't worry about it ever. Definitely don't worry about it now. It will come. Take my word for it. Speed will come. Right. Fundas are important. They're not negotiable. Reading stamina, not negotiable. Reading stamina cannot be built in 3 weeks. Those of you who are saying, look, I need to read 500 words. Why do I need to keep thinking about 5,000 words? Take it from me. Thinking and reading 5,000 words at a stretch is an extraordinarily good way of reading a 500, of becoming strong to read a 500 word passage and take value from it. And so there is absolutely no substitute for reading. Some people can get away without reading every day. Most of them would have read tons of stuff in their life throughout their life. The guys were saying, look, I don't read at all, I keep tracking VRC, are the guys who have read tons of stuff all their life and now are just acting cool. Don't act cool, read. Right? So keep that in mind. Those are the two big themes. Learning from fundas, what is learning from fundas and how to keep digging. Right? And reading. Those are my two absolute non-negotiables. The third part, it's kind of derived from this learning fundas part is, just like how reading builds verbal ability stamina, solving builds quant and clarity stamina. So you have to solve 10, 15, 20, 30 questions at a sitting. Devour books, do tons of questions. That's probably for May, June, July, not right now. Right now is probably if you're starting now, you're looking to learn from fundamentals and then do the grind. But the grind is inevitable. The grind builds muscle, grind builds automation. And so, and once the automation is built, you're flying. But you have to do the grind for building the automation. Right? I want to just have a pop over and have a look at the questions and then come back to attack section-wise strategy. Right? Understanding past mistakes, we've discussed that a little bit. Study plan, we've got the broad contours of it. We're going to dive deeper onto it a little bit more. Section-wise strategy, we'll come back to it. Maybe we'll do 4 or 5 questions and then come back to this. Right? Lovely. Do I take classes? I do classes. I did a class yesterday. I did a class for PGDB. I do a ton of online classes for the recorded course. A recording of this, yes. Recording of this will be available. How to do this to arithmetic? Oh, that's interesting. Let's do this to arithmetic. Let's have a go at it. Which books do I recommend? Maybe we'll do a video on this separately, but for me, the number one criterion for selecting books is unput down ability, and you should be able to read further. Right? So let me see. Let me write down a few books names. I'm just trying to find some space to write. I'm going to write here. Right? So books that I like growing up. I'm going to write down a few authors. And so Jeffrey Archer is one. Jeffrey Archer, Sidney Sheldon, John Grisham, the kind of books, authors that I grew up with. Dan Brown is good. Very young, I read Tinkle, Enid Blyton. When I don't have a reading muscle, I don't feel like reading big chunks. I absolutely love reading Calvin and Hobbes and Asterix and Obelix. Some days I don't feel like reading a novel. Calvin and Hobbes and Asterix and Obelix are brilliant. And so these are books that that make you keep going back to them. I'm a fan of Mahabharata. Read several versions, several variants of it. My favorite rereading was by reinterpretation was by an author called Chitra Banerjee Devakaruni. Very nice. So if you find mythology or history mythology intersection to be your thing, go for that. That is good. Indian authors, I love Arvind Adiga. He wrote this book called White Tiger. Fantastic book, one of my favorite books. I like that. These are all wonderful authors. Read whatever catches your fancy. Don't restrict yourself to just one author, one style. Keep floating around. I've read a couple of books by Sashi Tharoor. He's a wonderful writer. Has extraordinary command over the language, as is obvious. But it's not fake. He genuinely, automatically, his mind goes towards the best words for that context. And it's an incredibly powerful skill to have. And he does well both in speech and writing. And so in terms of tougher books to read, really trickier books where you have to hang in there to read. Salman Rushdie is brilliant. And so I've read 2 3 books. I'm really struggling through one now. I read a book I think called Shame, which is good. I read Midnight Children, which is good. But I'm reading one more which I'm struggling through it. I don't know the context and not working for me. Right? I've read few of this Malcolm Gladwell and all that. Not a big fan, but hey, I hung in there, finished the book. John Steinbeck is a brilliant author. And so he's written 2 masterpieces, Grapes of Wrath and East of Eden. Absolute legendary stuff. Ayn Rand was a favorite when I was younger. I got caught up in the idea of that philosophical strand of thought. Right? And I was an Ayn Rand fan for a couple of years. Right? One other extraordinary author I'm a gigantic fan of is P.G. Wodehouse. So P.G. Wodehouse, funnily enough, has not won it's not won a Nobel Prize. Right? So some people are known for winning, some people are known for not winning. And he's not won, and it's an utter shame. Right? P.G. Wodehouse is a brilliant author. The first time I read P.G. Wodehouse, I didn't get it. My language and my approach to life was not mature enough to appreciate simple layman language-based humor. For me, humor needed to be slapstick or moving or dialogue-based or script-based based on Tamil movies and Hindi movies. This was very different. Right? But once I got on there, it's a whole separate world. If you're into mysteries, murder mysteries, Agatha Christie is an old favorite. Very nice, good, quick reads. P.G. Wodehouse is an absolute legend. And I'm a gigantic fan. I'm very surprised. Come to think about it, I just it's been a long time since I read a P.G. Wodehouse book, and I've rarely ever had a time in my life where I've had to say that. And I keep going back to the old classics. It's brilliant. Absolutely outstanding author. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It's not gripping. It's not fast paced. It's not thrilling. It's not lightning quick. It's one of those things where you sit back and savor the extraordinary command the guy has over language and make words dance for him. And so that is marvelous once you get hooked on it. And so I'm a big fan of P.G. Wodehouse as well. So this is a bunch of books and authors that I would very happily recommend. The defining criterion for me is, hey, if you like a genre, you like an author, you're able to turn the page, grab it, jump in. Don't be snooty. Don't become a literary snob. Not required. Oh, Chetan Bhagat, kaun padega? Read Chetan Bhagat. I've read Chetan Bhagat. And I like Chetan Bhagat. I picked up the book, I finished it, I'm happy. And so there's don't get who even reads this crap about anything. Don't fall into defining your taste in literature as I can't stand this author as anything. And so don't be liberal in your praise and very stingy in your condemnation of authors and literary pursuits. And so one of my friends used to read Hardy Boys. I've read tons of Hardy Boys books. So I used to read them when I was young. Then he had a Hardy Boys set of books. I don't know if you guys have even heard of Hardy Boys. So Hardy Boys is 2 brothers, very American, all action, 19, 20-year-olds defeating crime all over the place. So very fascinating when you're 12, and natural progression is should be repelled by it by the time you're 15. And so, but our man had it when he was in college, and he was the butt of several jokes. That's all right. You like an author, you read it, it gives you joy. Who's going to stop you? Pick it up. Short reads, comic strips, Dilbert, Calvin and Hobbes, Asterix and Obelix, Tintin, but not so much. I didn't take to Tintin as much as I did Asterix and Obelix. And so, I know we've gone into a detour about books, but I've been banging on and on about reading. So might as well do a thing on books. Lovely. There's a bunch of questions on mocks. And so, are mocks, when will they be released? How many mocks are there? Mocks are already released. Mocks from 2IM are already available. So, for some reason, I completely forgot about having free space to write. Right? The 2IM mocks are completely available. You can buy that today and start taking mocks today. when it's available. So please check that out. The mock series has been made live. There's even a coupon code available for making a purchase at a discounted price. Check that out. Our mocks are also going to be available for evaluation and checking for at least a couple of days. You just ping us and make a request. We can give you access for you to see the mocks. One thing about our mocks, they're fiercely representative. The quality of questions is fantastic, and almost all questions have video solutions. And video solutions, all the Quant and LRDI, I've done the video solutions. I'm very particular that I want to convey a point with each question, each LRDI thing in our mocks. So very, very particular that our solutions cater to that particular question and also answer it to a theme to get a sense of what the overall thing is. And so our mocks are a kick-ass product, and they've already been launched. Evaluate it today as quickly as possible. Lovely. Bunch of questions on preparation strategy, preparation theme. I'm going to come back to that. Previous students of 2IM will have some concessions, so definitely reach out to us. All of our students will have who have studied with 2IM will have a discounted option for this. When is the ideal month to start with mocks? Now. Always now. You need to have a mock schedule starting June 1. March, April, May are for just having a go, seeing maybe the 2021 paper, one slot, doing one mock every 3 weeks, do 2 mocks in March, 2 in April, 2 in May, random free mocks, 1 previous year paper, just to get the hang of this thing. And from June, you get onto a rhythm and a routine and a discipline slot and all that. Can I substitute books for a podcast? I wouldn't recommend it. Podcasts sometimes are too distilled and not distilled enough. I mean, how do I frame this? There's an old quote about an author, an interview about an author, and then authors ask, "So, what's your writing process?" And he says, "Oh no, I think about a plot. I think about a storyline. I dwell on it. I conceive of different ways of structuring it. I see where it fits in the overall theme of things, and then I write, and then I revisit it, edit it, modify it, check it, grammatically correct it, prune it, slice and dice it. Then do this for one more iteration." And then finally, otherwise I'll go for perfection and not let go. And then within the pot, and then I can sign off on it. And then after that, what do? I go to the next page. And so the point is not about the gigantic grind of doing this, but the point is several people's authors' works are ridiculously close to their heart. The high quality authors do not waste words. And podcasts are all about wasted words. And podcasts, podcasts go into detours and digressions. When I'm speaking, I'm not as tight as when I'm writing. And I lost touch with writing, so I'm trying to start writing again. I used to write a lot on Quora. I used to blog before that. Now I'm on Twitter. But writing gives me clarity. And if I write about a topic, then I've read about it, I've researched on it, I have framed my thoughts into a sequence, and I've worried about if I write seriously. Sometimes I just wing it, but if I write seriously, then I've structured my thought, and the final, most distilled version, the way I want it, is how it's on paper. Fine. Any author who's worth his salt is worrying and fretting and saying, "This is my signature all over this place. I cannot write it with filler words." They're worrying about that. Fine. Whereas in a podcast, there's 2 people shooting the breeze, shooting from the hip, and vibing. And so the vibe zone is fine if it gets you hooked onto the depth. And lots of things that they practically in a podcast they do a table of contents like thing. I find the palpable lack of depth annoys the crap out of me when I'm listening to some podcast. You have one interesting strand, and then you say, "Oh, there's lots of research on this. We've seen this several times over that this point, lots and lots of research points that this is the future. This is where we're headed. Our research has been unequivocal." And saying, "What research? Who's saying this? What is the credibility? I want to read the research. I don't want three people talking about. There's been lots of research on this, and so lots of times podcasts are about referencing and credentialing some random bull. And I'm very keen to learn from first principles about said research and not listen to somebody who's heard it from somebody and then who's now shooting the breeze. And so I'm not a fan of podcast because of that. It's definitely not a substitute to reading. Lovely. I'm going to go and do an overall plan very quickly for each section. I'm going to see if I can. There's a better way of doing this. Give me a second.